What is up, W Sports Podcast listeners? Jimothy, we're back here again because we have an incredible week number 8 already. Believe it or not, we're halfway through the NFL season, and we're going to recap it today. Myself, along with the best co-host in the business, we got Tubby, are back at it again as we recap what our teams did this weekend, what your teams did, and all the other teams in between. So, Tubby, welcome back to the show, man.
What is up? It was a weird weekend of football for the NFL.
I do feel like that was the right word to describe it. Weird weekend for sure. I mean, even the scores. The
Yeah,
Chargers 26-8 final was gross. I mean, kept looking up at the score and it was like 5. And you just, what is this?
yeah,
29-24. These are the games when the people project on the weekend. They're like, I predict the score 29-24. You're like, that's never going to happen.
yeah,
Like, no one scores 29.
yeah. I mean,
Oh,
at one point that Chargers Saints game was 3-2 in the
yeah.
middle of the first quarter.
Talk about Jim Harbaugh's like, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's like, this is my kind of football.
He's probably loving it. So, here, how about this? Maybe we can start before we get into the NFL. I want to hear, how are you feeling as a Dodgers fan?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I mean, up 2-0. That first game was one of the greatest World Series games you will ever see. Uh, Aaron Boone definitely takes a lot of the blame for that, bringing in Nestor Cortez on a guy that hasn't pitched in 37 days, out of relief that's only pitched once or twice all season in relief. But as a Dodgers fan, I was screaming and running through the house.
Yeah, like the way that game went down and the fact that it was a walk-off grand slam in extra innings after the Yankees had already taken the lead in the top of the inning. That's why they say you
Yeah.
always got to get that crooked number if you're the away team.
Mm-hmm.
That was finally one of those that I can at least say, like, it's getting close to the 2011 Game 6. Now, the
Yeah.
only difference was it wasn't elimination. So I think if it was an
Mm-hmm.
elimination, dude, incredible
Yeah.
or off World Series win, that's huge. But
Yeah.
it was an all-timer, and Freddie Freeman has shown up, dude.
Yeah. He whenever he legged out that triple, I was like, he looks healthier. He didn't have that noticeable, limp as he
Mm-hmm.
had, the first couple of series. So I was like, all right, maybe you're being better. Now Shohei did pop his shoulder out last night,
He
but
did.
sounds like he will play game 3. So hopefully it doesn't affect him a whole lot. Doesn't sound like it was like a serious, shoulder dislocation where, there was some damage or anything to the socket. So, but I mean, Yamamoto pitched a great game. I was happy to see that the starting pitching has done what it's needed to the first couple of games. Now
Mm-hmm.
Walker Buehler can do the same thing and set us up good, for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised. I thought this was going to be a split on this. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I think both of us probably wouldn't have been surprised with that, but
Yep.
um, it's going to be a tough uphill battle tonight for the Yankees. Down 2-0, obviously, is not where they want to be, but
Yeah.
both losses were pretty tough. I mean, they were even in
Yeah.
position yesterday to return the favor, if you will, or even just put a double in the gap and clear the bases would have been big.
Yep.
And honestly, thought the pitch was a great pitch selection. I'm going to ambush the first pitch fastball, like go for it. No, that
Mm-hmm.
was it. Game was over.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they had Trinan on the ropes twice in so far this
yeah.
series, and both times they were not able to capitalize. I mean, Aaron Judge had a chance to kind of rewrite his playoff history, and he
Mm-hmm.
pops it up, and Aaron Boone's like, "Oh, I thought it was a great swing. I thought he took a lot of pitches." I'm like, man, he had one a slider right down the middle that hung, and he swung and missed,
Yeah,
and
he's still
popped
in
it straight
between.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a great game. The one thing I want to hit with, I mean, obviously got to get to some football here, was but Yamamoto 6 1/3, 4 Ks, but only 86 pitches. I feel like that was
Mm-hmm.
the right time to take him out.
Yeah, I thought so because you could tell he was maybe starting to lose a little bit of control of the splitter at the end, and he hung a couple there. Luckily, it didn't cost them. I thought it was a good decision to move to the bullpen because the bullpen has been so, strong for them. And then you got that day rest to kind of give those guys a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of rest going into game 3. So I thought I liked the move because, like I said, bullpen's been so good. Hard to touch the Dodgers bullpen, and I think Yamamoto did enough, and I think that's the most pitches he's pitched since he's come back from the injury.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. It was good to see him go deep, and it was nice to see that they didn't pull him in after 4 innings or 5 innings
Yeah,
because Blake Trinan has pitched, I think, 40 or 50
yeah,
pitches in 2 games,
mm-hmm,
and that's when if you get to game 5, 6, and 7, that's when it starts to add up, and the
mm-hmm,
maybe guys aren't as in between on pitches anymore. But
yeah,
Anyway, got to be up 2-0. Got to be happy. So,
Yep.
yeah. So, all right, that's 5 minutes of baseball talk. We're going to move on to the NFL because that's probably why you guys came to the show. But don't worry, we'll have more baseball talk as we get there on later in this week's episode. So make sure you are subscribed if you are not already, guys. We really appreciate it. We're almost to 300 subs. And if you're one of those 300 subscribers, you're in the running to get this free NFL signed jersey. So that's why you just got to listen. We appreciate you guys. Yep. All right, let's start with upsets. Baltimore Ravens to Cleveland, 24-29. Literally, just as soon as Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston just throws 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. What is the deal?
It just goes to show you, Deshaun Watson is the problem. It's clear as day. Deshaun Watson is the problem in Cleveland. You can't go back to the guy anymore, ever. Next year, whatever, you might just have to eat how much ever is left on that contract and say, see you later, because he is the problem. He's not a good quarterback anymore. And then I think one thing it really points out is that it's something we've talked about. Lamar Jackson is not great in late games. He cannot bring you back throwing the football because he's not a super effective passer. Yeah, the accuracy and all that stuff are up this year, but the thing is when it comes into crucial moments, he just can't get it done, and that's what we've seen throughout his career, especially in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did show up again, another one of those, and they're now 5-3, which just, you talk about he's also lost 2 of those games on the road, and you're losing out on home field advantage as you go through here. But to lose to the Browns, that's a pretty tough one to swallow. But Browns fans got to be stoked. You always love an interdivision game, especially against a rival like that. Always feels a little extra sweet. How about this? I'm not gonna call this an upset because both teams aren't good right now. The Patriots over the Jets, though. Aaron Rodgers got my boy Devontae Adams back. They got Breece Hall. This team has all the players. Lose 25-22 in a game where Drake May actually gets a concussion, has to leave, so we hope he's all right. Yeah. But and they limit Ramondre Stevenson to 20 carries on 48 yards, and a 7-yard run was his longest of the whole day, but still got in the end zone twice.
Yeah, it kind of the same thing. What we've talked about since the beginning of the season is the quarterback play in the NFL is really bad. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is not good anymore. I don't know how many times I have to say this. It's time to face the facts that Aaron Rodgers is not Aaron Rodgers anymore. Yeah. You've tried everything. You took play calling away from Nathaniel Hackett. Play calling hasn't gotten you better. Or the fact that Aaron Rodgers is just not as accurate as he used to be is a big problem. And that offensive line is a big issue. But the fact that you're just not force-feeding Breece Hall the football all the time is absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree. And it would alleviate a lot of the issues that they have. Yeah. But no. I need them to fix some of it because obviously, like we talked about last week, I got Garrett Wilson in a trade. So we're going to see how that goes. He did okay today.
Hey, at least this week the trade worked out for you.
That's true. That's very true. Eagles, Bengals. We talked about this game. We even went into it this weekend thinking the Bengals were going to roll over the Eagles, who have really, really been struggling. But no, Eagles came off. I think they were off of a bye week, right? I think they were. No, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, but they took care of business, and this was a game that looked like the Bengals were at least going to be competitive, and then it just lost it. Couple turnovers and just done after that. So bigger indictment on the Bengals or bigger statement for the Eagles?
I'm going to go with the Eagles because they have found something the last couple of weeks. Yeah, they didn't play great against the Giants, but they're getting smart. Like some of the football teams in the NFL, they are giving Saquon Barkley the football. What we have been talking about for the last 4 years, run the football. They're starting to run the football, and it's opening up the offense a little bit more for them. Yeah, it may, if you're fantasy-wise and you got like a guy like A.J. Brown, you aren't super happy this week. But I do. Yeah, I have one share of A.J. Brown, so it hurt me fantasy-wise, but they're being smart about it because you sign the guy for a reason, use him.
Yeah, I'm not putting a whole lot of this loss, though, on Joe Burrow necessarily.
No.
The interception he threw I did not like the effort from Jamar Chase.
No.
He saw the ball get tipped and already gave up on it. And this ball wasn't like it was tipped down or out of bounds. It was tipped back into the field of play, and there was a safety over the top who was one who ended up picking it off. And I don't know that he could have changed anything, but he could have at least tried, and it seemed like there was very little effort. And that's where the Bengals have felt this year is just meh.
Yeah, it really is. He made no effort to fight for the football. He saw that the guy was in front of him. He completely gave up on the play. And whenever it got tipped, he had his back turned towards him, walking onto the sideline.
Yeah. It's like he was. Oh, sorry, coach, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Really frustrating. I think if you're a Bengals fan, it's just been bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, this is not as bad as this though. There's no other way to transition. But the Texans did win over the Colts 23-20. But Anthony Richardson, anybody look at this stat line? Someone check on him. He's 10 for 32. Is so bad.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
He cost you the game. He threw the ball right to Jalen Petrie on their side of the field on like the 5-yard line, and then next play, CJ Stroud throws a touchdown, and that was pretty much the game right there. Shane Steichen really needs to think about his own job right now and go, okay, we have a chance to make the playoffs because the AFC ain't great right now. You've got a couple, teams that are, up there in the standings like the Bills and the Chiefs, but the rest of the AFC is kind of wide open at this point. Play Joe Flacco, let Anthony Richardson sit and learn, learn how to be a football player, not just, a quarterback that can actually throw the football instead of just some guy that can run. And then, I don't know if he got hurt on the play where he tried to scramble, then he hit the ground and immediately calls for himself to come out, but it wasn't like he was limping or anything. He was just tapping his head and he was over there like he was exhausted. It's like he gave up on his own team.
It's not a good look.
No.
They had 10 completions for 175 yards. Well, that's incredible. He obviously had the 69-yarder to Josh Downs. Outside of Josh Downs, 4 catches on 9 targets. Pittman had 1. Trey Sermon had 1. Jonathan Taylor had 1. Alec Pierce had 1. And Adonai Mitchell had 1. But that's it. That's literally all the completions they had the whole day. You got to get him out. To give Joe Flacco, he at least is going to fling the ball around. These guys are going to have 4 catches apiece, and then you're going to be competitive against a team like the Texans when this is a winnable ball game.
Yeah, because Texans did not play good at all. CJ Stroud up until the third midway through the third quarter was playing bad, and I don't know. Shane Steichen's really, like I said, he's really got to think about himself at this point. Because you go down with your quarterback when you know he's not good, it's just an indictment on yourself. And instead of going, well, okay, they drafted him, but he's not playing good. Let me go ahead and play Joe Flacco. If he was smart, I'd play Flacco the rest of the season and see if I can make the playoffs and give Anthony Richardson time to learn how to be an NFL quarterback.
Yeah. Random thing. Tua was back. They were at home, about to go ahead Tyreek Hill said this week, go ahead and start me, everybody. We're back.
Yep.
They lost to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Enough said about that. That's great. Dolphins 2-5, Patriots, Jets both 2-6. Buffalo did get a win, and they looked pretty dominant as they did it. Is this? Amari Cooper, I think last I checked, he had 1 target. So I thought that was kind of crazy. But
the one thing that trade has done a really good job about is opening up Keon Coleman and Shakir.
Yep.
They have both played really good those 2 games. Those few games that Amari Cooper's been there, so it's really helped open them up because now teams got to pay more attention to Amari Cooper because we know Amari Cooper can be a really good wide receiver in the NFL. So now it's opening up those younger guys where early in the season they didn't have a veteran or someone on that team that could really take eyes away from those guys. Now they have that, and it's opened that offense up a lot because James Cook played great.
Exactly.
Josh Allen played great. Keon Coleman, Shakir played really good. Cooper may not have the numbers, but he was definitely had the eyes on him, and so it opened up those other guys.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and take the loss. I did say don't start Bo Nix. I don't believe it. And then there you went. They had a great game. So gonna go. Maybe that's just because I'm a Chiefs fan and there's the Broncos, but yeah.
I was there with you though, so
yeah, Carolina still looked like Carolina with Bryce Young back in the starting. I didn't get it. I don't think he's any better. The Chiefs at 7-0. Packers are 6-2. They did lose Jordan Love again. to the injury, Malik Willis. They threw up that stat that said with Malik Willis playing yards per play versus with Jordan Love. I'm sure you saw it. I was like, get that off this screen. What are we doing?
Yeah. I mean, that first game he threw the ball 6 times or whatever,
Yeah.
and then the next game he threw it 13 times.
Yeah.
They're minimizing the risk of him turning the football over, which, I mean, he's played great and in relief for Jordan Love. So can't be mad about it, but it doesn't sound like the Jordan Love injury's super serious. It sounded like it was more of like a precautionary, okay, you tweaked your groin, let's go ahead and take you off. We got a big game next week, divisional game against the Lions. Hopefully he'll be able to play in that game. If not, it might get ugly because we have seen the role that the Lions are on right now.
Yeah, so that was the next thing. I think there's a new number 1 team in the NFL. I don't think it's the Chiefs right now.
No.
And if anybody didn't watch the Lions game and you just looked at the box score, you're like, how in the world did they score 52 points? They scored 52 points. They got outgained by almost 200 yards. Yes, there was 4 turnovers. That's why. They had 6 fewer first downs because they kept having a really short field, and they only had the ball for 24 minutes compared to almost 36. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
52-14.
Absolutely dominant right now.
Yeah. So we'll see if anything changes over the next couple of weeks. But the Lions right now, I mean, Thanksgiving's coming up in a month. It's gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yep.
Your Bears, your dad's Bears.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. So Chiefs did win again. I don't know how much we want to talk about either of these two. Chiefs are. Am I crazy saying that the Lions are the best team in the NFL right now?
Oh no, not at all.
Okay. Yeah, people don't know this. Patrick Mahomes still has more interceptions than touchdowns, and they're 7-0 because the defense is that good and they run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Kareem Hunt's been a lifesaver for him. I mean, the numbers weren't eye-popping for him this week, but he's run the ball effective for them. It's been a big help with Pacheco being out because he doesn't really have a whole lot of offensive weapons to throw the football to.
Yeah. Talk about not having offensive weapons to throw the football to. Our boy Baker Mayfield against the Falcons in a very big divisional game. Didn't look good. They almost came back in the end. They were down 31-17 going into the fourth quarter, and they lost 31-26. Yeah, is this – I mean, 3 turnovers is bad for the Bucs, and that's, I think, what ultimately did them. And Kirk Cousins looks really, really good. Baker he just doesn't have his guys.
Yeah, it's a big issue for them right now because, like I said, there's not that go-to wide receiver out there right now like you had with Evans and Godwin. But I guarantee you Kirk Cousins wishes he could play the Buccaneers each and every week because he has 9 touchdowns against him in both, in total in 2 games this year. So I'm guaranteeing he's like, oh, the Bucs are on the schedule again next week? No? Oh, darn.
Oh, darn.
But I'm going to take my victory lap when we talked about the guys to start. My sleeper for wide receiver or, pass catchers, Cade Otton, absolutely had a game.
Huge game. It was a great call. One of our best calls this week. So, did we miss anything on the NFL? I mean, is that everything? Did we cover it all?
So. I think we got it all.
It was a weird.
We did get to see 1 versus 2, unlike we thought we were going to get to see.
Yeah.
Bears win on a last-second touchdown, and that's all she wrote.
I do wish that I hadn't seen that news right before because I switched out Russell Wilson for Jaden Daniels, and he didn't do anything. So,
yeah.
I mean, who's to say Russell Wilson's going to do anything? But still.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but they are playing the Giants, so you never know.
Yeah. So, well, everyone, that is the show. A little bit long today because we've got some World Series news, but, Tubby is a big Dodgers fan. One of the biggest Dodgers fans out there, if you didn't know this. So, kind of get an update on it midway through the series. But we will be back at it again later this week, so make sure you're subscribed to the show. Until then, see y'all next time.
See ya.
See ya.